Hi, I'm Linda with LKC Creates. And what if I told you maybe you really are an imposter? No, seriously. You know, we've all heard about the imposter syndrome, right? And I'm here to plant a new idea with you. What if actually having imposter syndrome is maybe one of your superpowers? Let me explain. So, a lot of people that I follow, and hopefully a lot of people out there watching, are in this art community where we're talking about our drawings and our art and what we're selling and things that we're putting out in the world. And for beginners in particular, there seems to be an overriding talk about imposter syndrome. Like, for some reason, we don't have a right to be here. We're just faking it. Now, one source defines it as the subjective experience of perceived self doubt in one's abilities and accomplishments compared with others, despite evidence to suggest the contrary. Important little piece there. So let's think about this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you I'm an imposter. Maybe you are. How about that? And let's talk about why. It's probably not what you're thinking. Okay, so let's go back to how we all start off in life. Okay, we start off with doing some of our very first things, like walking, for instance. And how does a baby or a 1 year old or somewhere in there start walking? Do they start walking by jumping up and taking off, skipping along, running a race? No. They start off by trying to stand up, falling, getting back up again, tipping over, um, lots of crawling. There's a lot of things that lead to it. But let me ask you something. Are you going to tell that child, you're not a walker, you can't walk yet? Well, every parent I've ever witnessed when their child is first starting to walk is standing there encouragingly, come on, you can do it. You got this. And when they fall after one step, I don't see the parents getting down on them. I see them saying, you took one step. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you're getting the drift here. Let's move it up a few years. As a reading teacher, I've taught, lots of kids to read. And in the very beginning reading phase, kids are doing all kinds of things in the emergent reading phase. They are memorizing stories and chanting them. I remember my first graders used to have the books in front of them, and we'd be reading something very sing-songy like Mary wore a red dress, red dress, red dress all day long. And I could see them holding the book, but not even looking in the book, looking up, looking around, chanting it. And they're like, look, I'm reading. Now, am I, as a reading teacher, going to discourage them and say, no, you're not reading? You can barely get through a word or sound out a word. That's not how we encourage kids. We say, yes, you sure did. And now we're going to add a skill to that. I want you to put your finger here and we're going to try to look at the pieces of the word, or we're going to learn the letter sounds and, all the stuff that goes into learning how to read. And we're going to encourage them, and we're going to call them readers from day one. Therefore, why can't you apply these same rules to the beginning of your work? Now, I'm a perfect example. I don't know if I would go so far as to say I think I'm an artist. I have a mental hangup. It's probably imposter syndrome, but I can't help but think of an artist and think of someone like Van Gogh or, Da Vinci or someone like that. So how do I buy an iPad, learn how to use Procreate, and all of a sudden just declare myself an artist? Well, let me remind you that I'm starting out the same way those walkers did, and I'm starting out the same way that those readers did. And I have to start out by just doing it. Okay. I'm also calling myself a business owner. I didn't have one piece of knowledge about how to run a shop. You know how I figured it out? I went online and I started watching videos and watching what other people did. And I started an Etsy shop, and I went in and I followed the directions. And every time I got confused, I Googled it and I said, what the heck? What do you do about this? And what do you do about that? And Etsy was a pretty easy place to start because they took care of a lot of the stuff for me. I have recently moved into Shopify. It's a little more complicated, despite the fact that everybody's making videos online telling me, oh, it's so easy. No problem. Anyone could do this, really, because that was a beat down. I've spent the last couple of weeks, probably 17 hours a day, trying to get this all figured out with a little bit of help from everybody I could grab. And I have now launched my Shopify shop, LKC Creates. But guess what? Am I not an official business owner just because I haven't had my first sale yet? Am I not, I have to have the mindset. I have to be that person. Hold on, I'm going to read something for you. Have you ever heard of the concept? And I have heard things in videos that allude to this, but I'm not sure everybody nowadays has heard the terminology, fake it till you make it. Okay, there we go. It's imposter again, faking it. But listen to the definition I found online. Fake it till you make it is a strategy of adopting a confident, capable mindset, acting as if you already possess desired skills to overcome self-doubt and eventually gain real competence. So there you go. That's what I'm talking about. If I don't believe in my illustrations, if I don't act like the professional that I aim to be, then who on earth is going to believe me? I mean, right now I'm starting the videos and the shop talk, and I'm just going to keep going with this. And they're going to get better because I know I'm in the first 50 scary video category right now. And I really, frankly, don't have that many people listening anyway. So I've got to, however, feel like I've got a place here. And it all comes back to, because I noticed the definition said, despite the evidence to the contrary. Well, let's put it this way. I did start an Etsy shop. I did draw every design in my shop. I don't know. It looks kind of childish to me, but you know what? There's all kinds of art going on out there. Does it have value for people? Well, you tell me. I mean, I sold over 200 products. Now, I didn't set the world on fire with my sales records, but not all of those were family members. Quite a few of those were strangers from all over the US and also from a couple other countries, Australia and England, wanted one of my pens, or they wanted one of my stickers, or they wanted, a piece of my art. So the thing is, what am I to do with that? Am I to give up and say, I'm not a real artist? Because believe me, I could point out to you right now about 75 artists that I follow online that are unreal and so much better than I am. There are people who create realistic art that could literally draw a bird and it could fly off the page. It's so real. I can't do that. So do I give up? Is there not a place for me? Because there just happens to be a whole group of people who love whimsical art, silly art, kawaii art. That's not my style, but I mean, look at kawaii art. It has the potential to look childish, but guess what? Tons of us adults love it, and we want the stickers and we want the art. So I guess my message to you in the end is, maybe you are an imposter, and so what? Maybe that's the route you need to take. But bottom line is, you need to fake it till you make it. You need to believe it, because the one rule that I don't think I ever got until later in life was the people who make it, the people who are successful at whatever the thing is, whether you're sewing handbags or whether you're making clothes or whether you're an artist or whether you're trying to start your own cooking show, I don't know. The ones who are going to be successful are the ones who don't give up. End of story. The ones who don't give up. And as you keep trying and you get through all your goofy trials, you're going to find your audience along the way. That's the stage I'm at right now. I have tons of family members who are super polite and they follow me and they join me and they even go in and buy things every now and then, but they're not my audience. My audience are the people like me, the stationery addicts, the people who love stickers, the people. I'm starting a mail club in June, and I am a member of about 30 plus mail clubs. No joke. I'm not going to be able to sustain that. So I won't be staying member forever of all of these, but you're going to see some videos that I'm going to start making where I show their work and I'm learning from them and I'm faking it and I will start it. And even if I have one follower who wants to receive my items in the mail, then for that one follower, I will be there. And then maybe one will become two and two will become four and on it goes. But what I do know is if I don't try, I will fail. And if I don't believe, I will fail. So I am saying all this to encourage you to not get so worried about the whole imposter syndrome. Don't spend a lot of self-talk telling yourself what you can and can't do, or listen to that negative voice that we all have that likes to tell us, give me a break. Who are you kidding? Or sometimes we have family members and friends who will say those things to us. They don't get it. They're not part of your tribe. They're not in this area anyway. They're not the people that you are going to draw. And so, my evidence, if I've got a couple hundred people that have bought my products, well, somebody likes the art. Somebody's calling it art. And I've got, you know what I mean? So look for your people. Don't give up. Go ahead and just be a big fat imposter. Just do it and fake it till you make it. And you're going to find things get easier, things get better, and, we're going to get there. So there you go. There's your inspiration for the day, I hope. Have a great week. Bye. Till next time.